Lucas, hi. So good to see you, and thank you very much for the invitation. And of course, we don't want to keep anyone any longer in suspense. So what's the reason for this press conference? What do you want to tell us?
Nós estamos aqui hoje porque vai voltar para esporte de esqui, representando o Brasil. E eu sou muito animado, eu sou apaixonado e eu estou orgulhoso para representar o Brasil na competição Copa do Mundo e Jogos Olímpicos. E eu quero mostrar que tudo é possível. And yeah, for everyone in the crowd that doesn't understand Portuguese, we're here today because I am returning to the sport of alpine ski racing, and I'm doing that representing the country where I discovered my love for sports, which is Brazil. And I'm beyond proud to be able to represent them in World Cups, World Championships, and Olympic Games. And I'm very proud to be able to share that today.
But why did you dare this really big step? How did you know, how did you feel that you want to come back?
Well, during my time away from the sport, what I found very difficult was not waking up every day on the pursuit of becoming the best in the world in something. I discovered how difficult that was. Obviously, the lack of time spent on the activity that brings me the most joy, which is skiing. And then probably the most decisive factor was the moments that only sport in this world has to offer. Being able to perform in front of tens of thousands of people, sharing that moment and putting on a show.
So before we welcome our next guest, the president of the Brazilian Snow Sport Federation, let's get some impressions how Lucas is used to put on the show.
My dance began 23 years ago and found its rhythm in the streets of Sao Paulo, Futebol. This dance was about unity, love, freedom. Then I brought it to the snow. This dance was fast, disciplined, world class, exhausting.
For the first time, I'm happy. For the first time in years, I feel free. I'm out.
But you know what? You can only really dance when you're free. It's time to bring the dance home. O jeito brasileiro. To be who I am. Vamos dançar.
I'm pretty sure our next guest, he is really happy about your decision because he's the president of the Brazilian Snow Sports Federation. So let's welcome Anders Peterson. Hi, Anders. Hello. Good having you here. Anders, so it's great having you here in Salzburg in the hangar. And now that you have Lukas Braathens on your team, what does it mean for your federation?
First of all, muito bem-vindo, Lucas. Welcome to the Brazilian snow sports.
Obrigado.
We couldn't be more delighted and happy about your decision to start to compete again. So this is a tremendous opportunity for the Brazilian Snow Sports Federation. Lucas, being one of the best in the world in what he's doing, he's a role model. His presence will have many positive effects for the Brazilian athletes. So we are very much looking forward in starting a big legacy in the future. So summarizing, this is an enormous opportunity, and it can really become a game changer for us.
Mm. So, Lucas, let's talk a little bit about your timing, because at the beginning of the season, there was a really emotional, really difficult press conference in Sölden. And, well, was this change or this direction already planned during your appearance in Sölden? Or, let's say, when did you finally decide to start for Brazil?
Yeah, no, it honestly felt quite far-fetched to ever return to the sport in that moment. And when I went home to Norway again, I decided to spend some time with my family that I rarely got to see during my professional career as a skier. And then I booked a one-way ticket to Brazil, and I stranded myself on this island, Ilhabela, outside of Sao Paulo, the state and city that my family is from, and just try to get away from everything that had to do with sports and career. And obviously what was very flattering during the time was to feel all the support from the industry and the community of sports, everything from the fans to my old teammates and the competitors that I had in the sport, which was obviously extremely flattering to feel so wanted back into the sport. And then progressively it became more and more difficult to watch these races and not be a part of the show. And it's what I just said. It's not waking up every day and thriving to becoming the best in the world in something was really hard. And when I did pay a visit to all my partners ahead of the announcement of me resigning, they told me that if I ever wanted to come back, then they would be the first one to support that and find a way where we could do that, whether that would be for Norway or whether that would be for Brazil. And sometime in January, I then took them up on their offer, then proceeded to get in contact with the Brazilian Federation to discover the possibilities. And all of a sudden, I was left with the option of practicing the sport that I love the most, while still being able to go for my biggest goal, which is to transcend sports by expressing who I am.
It sounds like you had to deal with a lot of emotions. And Lucas, how are you personally? I think it's certainly not easy leaving the Norwegian team with close friends in it.
It was, it sure was difficult. And I've been going through some very beautiful yet demanding conversations with all my former coaches and teammates. And what I think is important for me to mention is that with every big choice in life, there are huge sacrifices and there are downsides. And the downsides in this scenario is that I have had to let go of my former teammates. And I also think it's important for me to say, which I've told every single one of them, is that I would never have been the athlete that I am today with the results that I've been able to achieve if it wasn't for them. But more importantly, I would never be the man that I am sitting in this chair right now if it wouldn't have been for them. So I'm so thankful and I feel so privileged to have been on this journey with them. And I have so much to thank them for. But I'm so happy that I get to enter this next chapter, remaining them as close friends. That means the world.
So surely not everyone will be super happy about your decision. So how are you going to deal with critical voices?
Critics are welcome. Different opinions are healthy, and it causes discussion, and frankly, it causes progression. And critics and negative reactions is something that I've dealt with my entire career. And me and my father, we really had one strong theory in our methods of me attempting to become the best skier in the world, and it was that in order to become better than everyone else, you need to do things differently. And it's not meant to be liked by everyone, and that is completely fine. Yeah.
So, Anders, but Lucas, you have one of the best skiers in the world. So, how do you think you can support him? In what role is the Brazilian Snow Federation in? Snow Sports Federation?
We are a small federation, but very professional. We focus on the athletes. That's the most important. We are a federation for the athletes and for the sport. We have three key words in our day-to-day, and that is governance, accountability, and transparency that we put on a daily basis. Showing a bit our history, what has Brazil done in Alpine in the past. Since 1992, the last 9 Winter Olympics, we have had Brazilian Alpine athletes competing at the Winter Olympic Games. And in normally 1 female and 1 male skier. Since the first World Championship, which we participated in, was in 1966 in Portillo, Chile. So we have a long history of Alpine participation. We were founded 35 years ago. We represent all snow sports in Brazil, all the FIS sports, the IBU and the Skimo. and also the para sports. So small organization, but many activities going on. I would take the opportunity to also present Pedro Cavazzoni, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Brazilian Snow Federation. He's here for any question. But being specific on your question, how can we support? I would say that's giving him flexibility, also support, giving him space to develop and fulfilling his dreams, which I know are immense. And I can guarantee we will give him all our support, everything that we can do so that his dreams are fulfilled.
Sounds really good, Lucas. So you're qualifying for the Brazilian Snow Sport Federation because of your mom's nationality. So what did actually your family in Brazil say? I think they must be really proud.
They are proud, and it makes me, it fills me with pride, you know, and to be able to properly introduce this for them. And, you know, what I think is probably the most amazing thing about all of this is that I've been trying to explain to them what this madness that I've dedicated my life to actually is since the age of 9 years old. And I've failed completely to actually make them realize what this is all about. And I hope that me actually representing their country and getting portrayed on their television screens back home is for the first time going to show them what this madness is all about. So that means a lot.
Tell us a little bit about your Brazilian background. So how do you want to represent the nation of Brazil?
Yeah, I grew up going to Brazil once a year, up until the point where I became a professional skier. Then I went every other year. At some point, I stayed for half a year when I was a kid, living there with my mother. And then, obviously, I was introduced to sports in the streets of Sao Paulo, playing with my neighbors, my family, and my friends. And I fell in love with sports over there. So to be able to come full circle and be able to represent them in the World Cup of a sport, it truly means a lot. So to be able to bring the dance to the snow is what I'm seeking to do.
So, Anders, Brazil is not necessarily known for alpine skiing. Would you say now you have a big chance for the wintersport in Brazil?
Yeah, it's a unique opportunity to develop the sport. But at the same time, Brazil has been improving on a yearly basis. We participate on a yearly basis on more and more events. Our performance is increasing. And we are now even world champions in the cross-country para Olympics. We recently obtained our first ever South American Olympic medal in the Youth Olympic Games in Gangwon in South Korea in January. So we are approaching a higher level all the time. And Lucas, being such a charismatic person, for sure will enhance the development. Speaking about the challenges a little bit. It's a learning experience, obviously. On the way to this event in the morning, I asked Björn, Lucas' father, how many skis does he have on a season, right? And the answer I got was in between 60 to 100 skis he has outstanding for his disposal on any moment. We are not at that level. So it's going to be a big learning experience for Brazil, right? But we are very focused, very dedicated to really contribute and face our challenges ahead.
So, Lucas, let's talk about your team. Of course, now it's all about setting up a completely new team. How is it supposed to work?
I think the most important thing is being able to work and collaborate together with the people in an infrastructure that embodies my vision of doing something that's never before seen and wanting to do something that's outside of the box and create something that we haven't seen before. I want people with good vibrations and positive spirits that wants to work together and not against each other, and that wants to travel the world and have fun skiing. So with the great support of all my partners, helping building the infrastructure and the program necessary for giving my dreams a chance is what we're seeking to do in the upcoming time.
Now, of course, it requires a lot of support from your partners. Otherwise, it's not working.
Oh, it sure does. And obviously, the privilege is the flexibility and the freedom we have to do it in the way that we would like to. And this sure isn't something that would be possible without my partners that you can see portrayed behind us here. Everything from the knowledge and experience behind building the infrastructure itself and the program, and obviously ultimately in this very resource-demanding sport, financing the program on a world-class level so we can threat those top spots.
So we met in Kitzbühel. You were watching the races. So how did you spend the last month? I heard you tested a lot for Atomic.
Yeah, so obviously when I went around to tell the partners about me resigning from the sport, as I just told you, the first thing they said is that they obviously did wish for me to come back and they would like to support, but they were also motivated to reshape the partnerships. And what Atomic offered is that I could help out on the creative department. And we launched my first signature ski, which was an amazing project for me and a dream come true. But they also offered me to become or continue the work as a ski developer for them, for the prototypes for the rest of the Atomic Redster in our family. And I had to think a little about it. I went home. I was invited back home to Axel, which since the minute I entered the European Cup and World Cup stage has been helping me out with everything I would need. And he left me with one tip, he wished for me to put myself in a position where if I did ever want to go back into the world of sports and come back, I would only have to push a button. So after my visit to Axel, I hit up Atomic again and said, yeah, I'd love to be your ski developer. And yeah, we've had 3 blocks of ski testing, and in between those blocks of ski testing, I've been able to experiment with my other interests and hobbies. I've been able to design, creative direct, spend more time on music, and I think the closest I've been back to feeling like I'm back on a race course again is probably debuting my first runway during Fashion Week, which was extremely fun, but I surely realized that that dancing on the snow is where I'm meant to perform.
So we do have World Championships in 2025 in Saalbach-Hinterglemm in the next season. So what are your goals for the upcoming season?
I've always been open about my ambitions, and as I told you, what I miss is waking up every day to being on the pursuit of becoming the best in the world in something. So I wouldn't be able to return to sports if it wasn't with the dream of becoming best again. So I'm looking to establish myself as quickly as possible in positions where I can threat podiums and wins in technical disciplines. And obviously, coming into the first championship with the Brazilian flag on my back is something that I'm very proud and very eager to make happen.
So maybe you will be even more nervous than Lucas at the World Championships.
Most likely, yes.
So I'm getting to the end. One last question. How do you really want to change the face of alpine skiing with that move?
Look, my biggest and my overall goal with being an athlete is to be able to leave a legacy behind me where I felt like I've been able to transcend sports by simply expressing who I am. And I think it's important to realize that at the end of the day, we're all here and I get to live off of skiing because it's an industry, and it's an industry because it's entertainment. Mm-hmm. We're entertainers. And I think it's important to say that the fact that I can ski 200ths of a second faster than another athlete around some plastic gate sat down a mountain, that simply does not change the world. But the story behind that achievement and those 200ths of a second, they might actually change someone's life. That might be the inspiration that makes a kid go for his dreams. So if I'm able to just make one kid go for that dream, even though he doesn't feel wanted or welcomed in that environment, then I've done what I've came for.
Well, very, very impressive, I would say. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Anders. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, now you get the chance to ask your questions. But before we start, Red Bull has a super nice surprise for you. And therefore, I would like to invite Robert Renkwalder. He's head of Athlete Special Projects Alpine to join us now. Robi, bitte.
So, Lucas, I'm very, very happy that you are back in the World Cup And for sure, I'm very, very happy. You are the first Brazilian skier who is on top in the world. And a small present, Eastern is coming. If you want to see what is inside, I would be happy. Okay.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Oh.
All right. Let's see
Muss aufmachen. Ja.
what this is all about. Have you done this or have you gone your assistant to do this? Be honest.
I have assisted, yeah.
There it is. Robert,
Okay?
thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much.
Hello.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
What are you saying? Cool design.
Well, I'd say it's very me.
Yeah.
It has my true colors. It looks fast.
Yeah.
And it
It
looks
does.
like it's made for dancing. Let's do this. Vamos dançar.
Yeah. Perfect combination. Thank you.